Own, you just had the best rated average of any FPO player ever. The highest tournament ever, Own.
I don't know. It just, like I said, when your week is your week, isn't it?
In the great state of Texas, Paige Pierce!
Really just cruising to that victory. Played really solid all weekend. Kind of the Missy show.
And here she goes again today.
Show. Let's see that slow, Mez.
That was a full flight.
Page up first for her birdie bid. Yeah, give it to her. So tries the charm here. One of the highest rated rounds we've ever seen.
Yep, so far still holding at 1055. Hello and welcome to the 2025 MVP Open at Austin, presented by Flight Factory Discs. We are starting out the first of 4 rounds at Sprinkle Valley Disc Golf Course. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're your 2 hot geeks. And if you're confused how there's 2 winners, it's because we're taking the course from US Women's last year and the course from the Open at Austin last year, putting them together for a DGPT Plus.
Yes, we are. We're going to start out at Sprinkle Valley today. Here's hole 1. We're moving to Harvey Pinnock for the final 2 rounds with a 50% cut on Saturday after round 3. Here is the doozy that is hole 1. This one, I remember during U.S. Women's, I would just tell myself that no matter what happens, we have to forget it on hole 1. It's 570 feet, but it is an absolute gauntlet hole. It's not one that you can guarantee even a par. There's so much trouble. Early right's hard, early left's hard, deep left is hard.
Straight deep.
Yeah, the right corner is hard. There's just a lot of places that are almost impossible to recover from. Just keeping it in the middle, taking something off is the way to get a nice easy par. There's this triple Mando and the famous Sprinkle Valley sign. Own doing a great job of putting it in the middle, not trying to get too aggressive.
Yeah, the name of the game out here on some of these holes, including this one, is just stay in the fairway, play for par. Let's see how Catrina Allen does it. You'll see a lot of women kind of take a little bit off and be a little bit conservative, just trying to stay in the middle. Catrina drifts a little bit less left, but gets a favorable kick.
Silva Saarinen starting her second year with Team MVP. She won like a million events last year. So far in 2025, 80% Circle 1X putting, one of the top in the field.
Oh man, what a great first shot. Come on, come on. Fantastic.
Yeah, not a bad kick at all. I watched Kat Mertz tee off this morning at 8:20 a.m., taking the E off of the Sprinkle Valley sign.
E's gone.
In Valley, yep.
Wow.
Well, the middle line of the E. So
oh,
it
okay.
just looks like Sprinkle Valky. Valky.
Cat merch, everybody.
Valsy.
Holyn Handley having a great season so far, in contention for both events that we've played so far this year. And a solid start here. Yeah, last year during U.S. Women's, this played 0.6 to 0.8 over par every day. And look at this strange footing Own is having to deal with. She's going to try to wrap the... Ooh, go over the top. I love it. We'll see how that works. Who knows?
Catrina with the more normal second shot, just a little chip around the corner, not trying to bite off too much. That's great. She'll be right on the edge of circle 2.
More than great. Birdie look here feels amazing. So let's see. Missy Gannon won this event last year with a 12 down over 4 rounds. And I think it's playing...
At US Women's.
At US Women's, yeah. And I think it's playing about 3 to 5 strokes harder easily. So it should be a day.
Yeah, the Pro Tour came in and made some changes that are changes. We will talk you through them
later.
Holyn coming in hot, getting a really nice tree kick. It could have been tough to putt, but she has checked up at about 20 feet.
Own's sky shot actually turned out pretty dang good, and that'll be an easy par.
This year, this hole averaged at 0.6 strokes over par. It was the 5th most difficult hole with only 4 birdies out of 50 competitors.
Did you feel like kind of a tailwind off the tee, but then once you got in the trees, the wind didn't really do anything?
Yeah, just like kind of a swirly wind, honestly. You're up on one of the highest points of the course at hole 1's tee pad. It's a really pretty view.
Yeah, it is a fun tee shot. Fun to watch. Holyn for a birdie. Catches band.
There were actually 53 competitors, but we must have had one of the early cards without stats. Only recording for 50 players today. I'm going to shout out the birdies: Valerie Mandujano, Deanne Carey, Maria Oliva, and Haiti Line. That 3 feels great.
Any birdies out here are going to feel amazing.
Yeah, only 11 competitors got to even circle 2 in regulation.
Yeah, so we are playing this course back-to-back and then moving to Harvey Pinnock, as Madison said.
We're in the booth. We're calling that even par is going to be in the top 10. That was my call.
I think easily.
Yeah.
Hole 2 is a par 4, 534 feet. I like this one. It feels birdieable and a little bit wider than some of the others. I like a forehand off the tee personally. You can get more aggressive with the backhand line, which I think is a theme out here at Sprinkle Valley. The backhand will get you a little bit farther, make your upshot easier. The forehand kind of splits it up into 2 shots. You can see this tunnel has some more fairway trees in the center on the approach shot, but there's no out of bounds. I would say, what's the worst mistake? Hitting that one tree right off the tee. Or I'd say most common mistake is kind of ending up on the left side halfway down and having trouble scrambling.
Yeah, early right can be brutal as well. You see that corner of trees that you kind of have to get your anhyzer around if you're going to throw that aggressive backhand. You see a lot of players hitting there and kicking right.
Own catching a left side tree, but a pretty good kick. And Catrina calling for this to get left, but that's just fine. A little short, but she'll have a chance to birdie from there.
The second half of this fairway is really tricky. There's a more open left side, but there's a slanted tree that kind of takes away the option of a backhand turnover shot. The forehand seems like the play, but it is a long shot.
I feel like every single shot from the fairway, the second shot, is always wildly different.
Yes.
Just the way it's shaped. Like, you're not like, oh yeah, definitely forehand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's never like one fairway that you're hoping to hit.
That's a picture perfect drive from Holyn. She went Z glow zone there. She's quite a bit farther than our other competitors. Own lining up the forehand. And
she's every bit of 310, 20-ish feet
yeah,
away.
That sounds,
it's far.
That sounds about right. 300. There's that slanted tree Mad was talking about. And Own's going to get to, circle 2 edge?
Yeah. I think it might even be farther than that.
Yeah.
It's a long shot.
Ooh, inside, outside. Outside.
Outside.
Outside being left. Ooh, inside, outside. Also
And
to circle 2.
Not trying to get super aggressive there, really smart. Just giving herself a long circle 2 look for birdie. Silva, we heard in her interview earlier today that she just doesn't necessarily want to throw forehands as much as possible. She likes the backhand turnover game, so
And she's good at it.
Yeah, we'll see her catering to that.
I believe we saw her on lead card at U.S. Women's playing this course last year for at least one round. Her putting was insane.
Holyn getting some big ground play. She's going to have an obstructed putt from just outside circle 1. The baskets are all a little high in their sleeves here.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes for the putting always feeling a little bit nose up.
That's where I live. But I don't think they were like that in practice. They
were.
Were
Yeah.
they?
They were
Okay.
like that during
I
US
swear I
Women's
saw
last year too.
I saw this one was like, is this normal?
Yeah, they were like it last year too. There was again only 4 birdies on hole 2. Let's see if Silva can get one of them.
About 40 feet away. Good line, just high.
You're going to see players missing high a lot when they're trying to putt aggressively, or the more timid putters are going to be drawing cage. Holyn not even messing with it, just laying up, and par is great out here.
I think I cheated and kind of know what the easiest hole is already. Do you know?
Oh yeah, our game.
Yeah. Do you know?
Yeah,
Do you have a real guess?
told me.
Dang it! I ruined our game.
We ruined the game.
We'll guess at Harvey. Or we'll guess tomorrow. Maybe it's the same hole.
I'm going to shout out the birdies again because birdies are so good out here at Sprinkle Valley. Taylor Kochek, Haiti Line went birdie start.
Wow.
Madison Tomeno, a really great tournament director and player from Portland, Oregon, and Raven Klein getting the birdies.
All pars is good out here. It's not the most exciting, you know, in variety, but love a par. String and gray, good thing at Sprinkle Valley.
Yes, totally. Hole 3, this used to be a must-get birdie at the U.S. Women's layout last year, but they changed the pin, adding, I would say, about 50 feet to it, maybe a little more than that. The pin used to be right here where this little purple bucket is, and now it's more like 60 feet away, maybe 65. We're playing the same tee pad as the MPO. It's a 360-foot pushing hyzer. You're hoping for ground play because this is a big shot, especially on a pure hyzer line.
It's still gettable, but I don't know. I'm just a big fan of a pressure-filled must-get birdie.
Yeah, there's no easy shots out here at Sprinkle Valley. This first tree on the left side is in your head, and then you find yourself wanting to push this right side of the tee pad as you're running up, and so instantly that tree to the right comes into play.
Yeah, the way the tee pad is, everyone's running up on that right side for sure. Catrina not quite getting around the corner.
Yeah, taking some off. There was a headwind coming up this fairway, headwind left to right cross, so a terrifying wind for having to throw as hard as you can in the woods.
That looks great from Silva. Keep fading.
Wow, Silva
Goes
going deep.
That's so good.
What a flex.
That was her Fission Defy. Uh-oh.
Holyn showing us things that can happen.
And some of this rough can be pretty bad, Holyn just having to pitch out. And that's not even going to be the easiest of bogey saves.
Every single one of the holes out here at Sprinkle Valley can sneak up on you and become a double bogey.
Man, that was a good shot.
That was incredible. She's so good at those skipping shots. You always see Holyn getting good ground play. Catrina with a weird stance for her second shot, but she can see the basket.
Man, it would stress me out to have my bag that close to my leg.
Me too. And my backswing.
And that was a great shot, though. She gets to about 25 or maybe a little less. Here's Own long look for a birdie.
Almost starts to run it in.
I think that she fully got into like a running pose. Catrina test her putt here for her par.
And there's the first cage hit of the day. These high baskets,
You know,
just
I just thought about that. I hit cage like 4 or 5 times today, and like they didn't feel bad. And now I'm not gonna feel bad about it anymore.
You shouldn't. That koozie
Silva.
is where it's supposed to be on the ground.
Silva with a great putt. I want to see this again. Did she have to hit a little gap? Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
some leafs.
Pure hyzer the whole way.
Fantastic birdie.
Our first slow mez of the weekend. Silva one of 9 birdies today. And with 9 birdies on the hole out of 54 competitors, this is the 3rd easiest hole. So that just shows you how birdies
Woof.
are rare at this course.
I got to shout out Sophia Dunica, who was on my card, who absolutely parked the hole.
Nice.
Pinned it.
Hi, what's up guys? It's Paul. I'm here to tell you that today's video is sponsored by Vessi. Some of my favorite features that Vessi gives you is they are waterproof, not water resistant, waterproof. Big difference there, keep your foot completely dry. Of course, when you find a shoe, you want comfort. That's exactly what Vessi gives you. It's the most comfortable shoe that I've ever played in. When we're playing on the tour, we're playing a lot of rounds. We're covering a lot of ground. So you need to make sure that you have a comfortable shoe, and that's exactly what Vessi gives you. So you have comfort. They're also waterproof, but the most important part about having a great shoe on tour is the grip. These work well on concrete, turf, fairway, bad situations. Best grip that I've ever had as far as a shoe goes. I started wearing Vessi Stormburst this year. I absolutely fell in love with them. You can get them in the high top, the low top. Like I said already, that the grip is fantastic and they look pretty cool too. If you want to give Vessi a shot, you can get 15% off your first order. All you have to do is go to vessi.com/JomezPro. That's vessi.com/JomezPro for 15% off.
Hole 4, another 360-foot par 3, but this one feels a lot more unreachable. The line is just so tricky. It's a very tight turning shot, maybe a tiny little flex, but you can just see that if you don't do it absolutely perfectly, you can hit any of those 100 trees in your way. Really good shots tend to land in circle 2 and maybe give you a long look. We saw a few birdies, I think maybe per round out here, but really not very many overall at US Women's across the weekend. If you get past that first ditch, though, like, you're sitting pretty for a par.
Yeah, it shapes up really nicely for a long backhand turnover, but I think even better for maybe a forehand kind of.
Oh, really?
I don't know, but we just not with the distance in the FPO field.
Yeah. Plus that tree right there, you can tell some people have nailed it with some forehands.
Yeah, I wasn't convinced until I watched Ella Hansen throw it today, and
yeah,
it was really
If we get
beautiful.
more FPO who have Ella Hansen forehands, we will see that in the future. Owen came up into about circle 2, similar to Silva. Catrina pulls it and is pretty fortunate to get all the way as far as she did. Ooh, let's see if Ella can do it.
Holyn.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if Holyn can do what Ella can do.
And she pulls it a little bit left. The thing about...
She can't.
She can't.
Holyn can't.
Holyn did not.
Ella can.
Ella did.
Ella does. Ooh, look at this, though. Go in.
Holyn! Wow. Her
Beautiful.
approach shots are looking so good this year.
They really are.
So out of our 53-person field, 4 people got to circle 2 in regulation. Only 1 player to circle 2 in regulation. I mean, circle 1.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. This one was, we thought, a little funky on US Women's, but also we don't hate a hard par 3.
Well,
we love that when there's just one.
I didn't hate it when the
There
last one was a birdieable par 3.
Yeah.
Now I like it less.
Yeah, we have a lot of hard par 3s out here now in this layout.
But it's not a bad hole. And they did a ton of work out here. Let's try to not only complain. They did a ton of work clearing out the fairways. It looks really great.
The tee pads rule.
Yeah, new tee pads, yeah, and new baskets.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's looking really good out here. Catrina missing her par putt, but is good for the bogey.
And Holyn with a really great scramble after that early tree hit. There was only 1 birdie today, and God, cat merch.
She's on one.
Doing cat merch stuff. She parked it too.
Yep. That's awesome.
So good. Par feels great on this one.
One down through 4, enough for a tie for first for Silva.
Hole 5, one of our first holes with OB lining the fairway. You can see that staked roped area on the right side. There is a creek down there. A lot of players going the way this drone is flying with a forehand or a backhand turnover. There is kind of a sneaky gap on the right side too that's a lot higher risk. Your second shot, you're usually around 250 or in from the basket. You do want to clear that OB creek on that second shot. But if you're out of position just slightly, which can happen so quickly, you see players laying up to that creek and then just chipping across and playing for 4. Do not come in deep, though, on this basket. Those little sticky trees all around the deep left and straight side make putting almost impossible. Wow.
Wow, that is a world-class backhand. That was a neutron rhythm from Silva.
Nice.
Owen showing us the more typical forehand line.
You have to be very touchy with this shot because you can see with a couple more flare skips, you can find OB right.
The tunnel definitely shapes up a little bit better for it. That's why I say Silva's shot is so impressive. Oop, Holyn early, but it's going to work out just great.
That was a nice little hit of whatever that shrub was in the middle. Catrina rolling her wrist a little bit, but that is not a bad reaction.
She'll have to decide whether to go across or lay up, though. I'm sure she'll decide to go across, but it's just far enough to think about it. Oh, she's laying up.
Unsure what she was doing
I think it was a layup that
with a
went
distance driver.
poorly. Okay.
I don't know.
You're right.
It's really a gamble
It
out here.
doesn't matter. We see the result. Own
Yeah.
across nicely, but all those little stick trees can definitely get in the way on the putting green.
Really,
Ooh.
yeah, really pretty little turning shot. Some good speed trickling into circle one.
Nice touch approach from Catrina on that one. Holyn left with about as open of a gap as you get on this hole. Ooh. Wow.
Another really great approach shot.
I thought that was heading straight towards that tree for
Me
sure.
too. There were 12 birdies on this hole, one of the more birdied holes of the day, but also a fair amount of bogeys.
Nice upshot from Silva.
So an averaged at about a quarter stroke over par. There was only one hole that averaged under par, so.
Man, Owen almost cashing that putt through all those trees. Catrina for a par save. Nice.
Yeah, really solid recovery. Silva with one of those 12 birdies. Looking great. Clean scorecard, 2 birdies on the front 9 so far.
Holyn finding some green on her scorecard, getting back to even par. Well played.
If you look at the U.S. women's footage from last year, we were here right around the same time, but everything was so much greener. A ton of wildflowers. Apparently, Austin's in a bit of a drought right now, and after a rough winter, it's a little bit of a slow spring.
Yeah, it makes it so that you feel the wind a lot more in the wooded holes, so it's extra challenging. Hole 6, a little bit uphill off the tee pad, par 3, 320 feet. I think this is well designed because this center grouping of trees here makes it so you can't throw the exact turning line that you want. You got to go outside or inside. I think inside's the way to get there. Outside, meaning left side, can work as well, but you tend to find, I think the most common mistake is kind of fading out into that late left. And it is pretty rough in there. It's pretty rough anywhere. I'd say early right and late left are the two mistakes to avoid the most.
Early right is absolutely
It's horrible.
brutal. Late left is also brutal.
Yeah. Dang. Silva flashes the basket. I think last year I didn't realize how much you could let this thing turn off the tee and how much room there is. That looks fantastic too. Holyn just fading out into circle 2, but she'll have a long look.
Owen trying to avoid the forehands today, dealing with a little bit of an elbow issue. This does set up better for the backhand than the forehand, but sometimes Owen be throwing those forehands where no one else does.
She does. I could see it here. But yeah, it's going to be strange. This course sets up for a lot of forehands. So we'll see how Owen deals with that as the round goes on. Catrina taking that outside gap, and here's where I was talking about, although she's on the edge and should be okay to scramble for a par.
A little chip forehand from Owen. Nice and easy. Up to the bullseye. This played as a tie for the third easiest hole of the day with 7 birdies. Not a lot of bogeys.
And a nice little forehand approach shot from Catrina. Holyn about 50 feet for a birdie. Gives it a run. Gonna have a bit of a comebacker there.
Only 3 competitors able to get into circle 1, while 18 got to circle 2. Silva right on
Silva.
the edge.
3 down now.
Looking pretty unstoppable. And the rest of our feature card, just gonna take pars. Seems boring, but it's great.
It is great.
We
It's
love that.
greater than it looks.
Another very challenging par 3 on hole 6. Here's hole 7. There's not one option. There's many. You see a lot of drives getting tangled up in that first grouping of trees. Ideally, you want to get past them on the drive so your second shot you can attack, but it's difficult to get far enough to attack for birdie. This is a tough par 4 distance-wise, and then just the demanding shot shapes and landing zones make it even more hard. Silva opting for this left gap. I like it as well,
man.
but I like it for a forehand.
Yeah.
Silva gonna show us the shot.
But that's how you get the birdie.
Yep.
Aggressive backhand. Again, a theme out here. I like the forehand too, but it's way harder to get the birdie.
You're settling for par absolutely at best. Bar a throw in. Holyn gonna
Ooh.
go up the right side. This gap doesn't, if the camera angle's not doing it justice, it is so much more narrow than it looks.
Yeah.
It's only about, I would say, 5 or 6 feet across at that initial gap. Here's Own with the forehand. You just got to make sure you don't turn it over left. She gets out of the grouping of trees, but again, it's not going to be far enough to go for birdie necessarily.
This hole played so difficult last year. It was only getting maybe 4-ish birdies per round, and played around the 3rd most difficult.
Today, the 4th most difficult hole of the day,
Oh no.
with 47% of the field with a bogey or worse.
And you can see why by some of these upshots and narrow gaps.
Yeah, this sets up for a tall hyzer, just like we see Catrina doing really well. But even thrown perfectly, she's going to be super pinched, and this green is very well guarded.
Yeah, she'll have a chance for par, but it'll be a little touchy. Own far enough up here to throw kind of a skipping hyzer shot. Did she hit one of the sticks?
Yeah, definitely. There's like a lot of branches in all the fairways out here at Sprinkle Valley.
Yeah, it's not really mulch. It's just branches.
Texas-sized mulch.
Sure is. Yeah, Own really robbed on that one, though. Holyn just playing for bogey with that one, not trying to get too aggressive. And Silva, even set up as well as she is, having trouble and gets a really rough kick into that corner.
Silva does have an advantage out here being so good at standstills. That was kind of a weird miss for her because with the mulch, you just can't run up. And if you try, you are going to fall. It's just really tough to get good footing. You have a lot of early releases. Holyn finding the bad edge of the green and trickling down to no man's land. It is rough to putt from down there.
Yeah, she really wasn't rewarded for how good that upshot was. Silva unable to get out of the rough.
And that is kind of the story of Sprinkle Valley Rough. Unable to get out.
Yeah, sometimes
You're trapped.
Sometimes 2 or 3 times unable.
Yes.
Same spot. Let's see if Silva can do it this time. She does. Oof.
And look how this can happen on every hole. It can flip so quickly. You'll be the best drive on your card, and all of a sudden you're taking a double.
Mm-hmm. Catrina with a nice layup into the bullseye. Silva gonna be taking that double.
There were 4 birdies today on this hole.
Nice. Man, Own all pars. When's the
Yeah.
last time you saw that from Own?
The string of gray is great here.
Mm-hmm.
This is like D-Glow vibes for Own, I feel like. But
For sure.
they're all the par threes. Ooh, Holyn. What a bogey save.
Wow.
Shout out to Violet Main, Sarah Hokum, Deanne Carey, and Anniken Sten for getting birdies on hole 7.
So Hokum got the forehand birdie.
Anniken with the lefty birdie on this one. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like the same as Hokum getting the forehand birdie, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
I
Just
guess.
getting, like, their second shots, I'd imagine, were unbelievably good.
Yeah.
I mean, their drives, too, it's just hard to get to, like, where Silva was with the forehand. It's crazy. And one down once again, going to be a 5-way tie for the lead, it looks like. Hole 8. Much easier than last year's par 3, 320 feet. It's easier because you can see that tree either came down in the storm or they were really nice to us and chopped it. I'm betting the former. Forehand is definitely the better play here. If you can get out of the tunnel and get a little bit of a skip, it's a pretty simple hole, but getting out of the tunnel, as always, much harder to do than it looks.
This is another one where the rough is rough.
Yeah, and you can shoot into some crazy spots.
Yeah, kicking right, you can see how tough it is, but kicking left, you can't tell from the camera angle, but the trees are just checkerboarded over there, and it makes it so hard to get through that initial gap to even get close to the green.
Own gets most of the way out of the tunnel. I think this is the worst, reaction and place you could be on your second shot. Early right. Oof. No, thank you. Oh, that looks great.
That's perfect. Coming in hot, though.
Chill.
Oh.
Still great.
Some rough ground play from the Texas mulch.
I don't know. Holyn also putting so much spin on them.
Yeah.
Like she could spin off of anything.
Yeah.
Silva with the backhand. You can see why it shapes up better for the forehand.
No
And
OB over there, just
weird gaps.
wow.
Oh, that's great.
That's so good.
Catrina with an amazing upshot from that short right side.
So touchy. Silva trying to flex something through a bush and gets through.
Kind of works.
Yeah, it gets through. She'll have a long. Oh, never
Ooh,
mind.
No.
Nope.
No.
It's a putt for her.
Yeah. And once
Silva's power on the green looking so impressive today.
today, man, she's
know.
always had that.
But it's gotten better.
60 feet, no step, no jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Owen giving it a run as well. Here's Holyn with her birdie look.
Cash.
Comfy. One of 12 birdies today on hole 8. There's 53 competitors. Only 19 people got to circle 2 in regulation. That's everyone else just jumping around.
No.
It's such a tight gap.
Silva. Maybe just a bit rattled.
I like these baskets because the cage is wide, so you don't see as many spit outs. But if you hit low on either side, it just never has a chance of staying in.
Silva going back-to-back doubles there. Going to go +1. So Holyn with that birdie and Own with all of the pars. Going to overtake Silva with even par. Fantastic birdie from Holyn. The old double shift. Sarah Hokum and Deanne Carey now 2 down through 8, leading the field.
And here's the final hole of the front 9 at 470 feet. You're thinking, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
And then you throw a drive and you're like, yeah, that was great. It's a perfect hyzer around the corner and then you land right here.
And then you're like, well, there's nothing. Wait a second.
You really do have to be very specific with your landing zone and have to push a lot straighter than you think. Even if you do get to that landing zone, the approach is low ceiling and uphill and just so tough. Such a specific backhand and forehand line. You can't come in low and play the ground either because of some logs that are across the fairway, blocking skips. So you have to come in with height. It's a very, very specific second shot.
Holyn had the right power. If it missed that tree to the right, like Own just did, it was going to be sitting pretty, but Own going to be a little short of the ideal landing zone, which is maybe 20 feet in diameter, a little bit in front of where she landed.
And if you don't land in that landing zone, every shot that you choose to make after that is high risk if you're going for the green.
Yeah. Catrina close to the landing zone.
Mm-hmm. We see a lot of players just kind of chip something up safely if they're out of position, play for par.
Silva giving this a little bit more height and hyzer. I like it. Oh, she like wraps the corner a little.
That's great.
That's amazing.
It's one of the best drives I've seen on this hole.
Yeah, definitely.
Holyn pinched off. It goes too hard.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it can be rough over there. We'll see. Catrina almost lined up perfectly. She'll have a chance here with a little flexing forehand. And that's a great shot.
Wow.
Get over the logs.
Really
wow,
nice.
she's in the circle.
Yeah, really nice ground play. From where Catrina is, it's probably about 250, but it's uphill, so it plays farther than that. It's a crush.
And you can see Own dealing with not really a great line and getting some course love to get all the way through there. Silva threw a neutron Tesla off the tee. Dang, such a good tee shot. Does not convert the upshot.
Oh, Holyn.
Oh, lucky girl.
Yes, she is. This one of the few open spots on the right side of the fairway. She's able to just chip a little forehand up to the green. Very nice.
Yeah.
Only 14 competitors got to circle 2 in regulation out of 53. There were only 4 birdies on this hole today. So a really hard par 4.
Sure is. Let's see if Catrina can do it. No.
Catrina struggling just a bit on the putting green today.
Oh.
Own.
Own gets it.
Wow, grabbing the very most right
yeah,
chain.
We love those wide baskets. Own 1 down. Bogey free so far. Great conversion.
Holyn with a really nice recovery. And Catrina with an easy par. We love that. The 4 birdies were Evelina Saarinen, Allie Smith, Hannah Stefanovic, and then we got to watch Own.
And that's going to wrap up the front. Own, the only one on our feature card to be under par for the round, playing so clean. Sarah Hokum leading the field 2 down. The old queen of clean. Yeah. I can do it. I can do it. I made it up, and I can still do it. Let's see, Valerie Menahano, Deanne Carey, and Kristen Lott, the only others under par so far.
Yeah, it looks like to be in the top 10, you need to be right around even par or 1 over. Do you think I think the back 9 plays harder than the front.
I do too.
Yeah, especially with our finishing stretch. It is absolutely wild, especially in the windy conditions that we'll see today and tomorrow. Everyone just kind of playing par golf in the top 30. Really good for them. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We do have 9 more holes. Come watch us play some Texas wooded golf here in this early spring. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Like and subscribe, JomezPro.
Watch your body